that was another thing that I'm going to say. I got behind on my EastEnders, so I'm watching what happened in December, at the beginning of December, and yeah, Dot Cotton has died. Now I can't even remember if I heard about it or knew about it. I don't know. Like usually when I watch it and someone dies, they give like a thing at the end indicating that. I don't know. I feel like maybe I kind of remember her dying, but I am. Oh, my hamster's woken up. But yeah, it's interesting how Dot Cotton died on my birthday. Um, is just what I'm going to say. You know, I know I need to be respectful to her and stuff, but she she's famous in EastEnders for being the Jesus worshipper. You know, that God is so forgiving, God is so loving. You know, everything that I'm not, and for the last 10 years, you know, out of all the EastEnders characters. I don't know how, like, if there was to be news, like with the COVID thing, the COVID came in and they did kind of touch on it, but they didn't like make a big thing of it and stuff. So if there is going to be a world awakening to, you know, God the Mother rather than God the Father, um, would EastEnders touch on it or would they kind of try to avoid the subject like they did with COVID? I don't know. Um, you know, I think the thing with my religion is that I haven't got everyone. Um, my throat kind of hurts a bit. I haven't got everyone. I haven't got the Islamic community. Their religion is, I believe, backwards in comparison to my beliefs. The things that I believe. I think a lot of things in Islam are absolute backwards and are opposite of what I believe in. And they also don't worship Christmas and things like that. And I think that was when Eve had her son. So, you know, I feel like there's just lots of things that they don't worship and lots of things that they don't believe in. But yeah, when it comes to Christianity, though, I feel like Christ is me, and they're all talking about me. Only they're not recognizing that it is me, and so I'm kind of pissed off with that religion. But at the same time, that religion helps me. And with it, with Dot, you know, she was one of these strong believers, and she doesn't worship a real a real God for in my view. You know, she worships someone who loves everyone, and I think the reality of it is you can't love everyone if everyone is very, very different and if people are causing lots of problems. You know, I think if I had 8 million hamsters, I would say, oh, I love you all. But in reality, that's not actually what I'm thinking, you know. And in reality, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, at least I don't have to, as long as I don't have to look after them, I love you, providing I don't have to do anything for you. You know, that's kind of what I'd be thinking in the back of my mind. And that's, I think, how I feel towards humans. You know, there's 8 million of you, and you know, I'm happy for all 8 million to be, you know, alive on Earth, providing you can all look after yourselves and create a, you know, a world that's where everyone's happy and stuff, and that's just clearly not happening here. So yeah, you know, if I had 8 million hamsters and uh, every now and then hamster or thousands of hamsters each week would get shot each week or something, you know, if they were doing the things that humans are doing, then I wouldn't like them. And I would see them as kind of vicious things. And you know, I like to have a few hamsters, but I wouldn't want. I would love to have a cluster of hamsters. I think that would be quite cool. If I had a big mansion, I could have like one room dedicated to just a big cluster of hamsters, and you know, I think that would be quite fun. They would have to all be same sex though, because I wouldn't want the population to start doubling every few days, which is what will happen. It would double every month or something. But um, actually, it'll probably be less than that. Anyway, whatever, because they have quite a lot of babies. Um, but yeah, I always wanted to know what Dot would think if she found out about me, and what would she say on EastEnders. You know, in a way though, I feel like she might be kind of embarrassed. You know, I've promoted Jesus, I've promoted God the Father my whole life. I've always tried to bring people to them, and then suddenly it's revealed that actually Jesus is a fake Christ and or a false Christ. I say he's not a fake Christ because there's some truth in him, but he's a false Christ because I'm not a guy who came 2,000 years ago who could walk on water and heal physical problems and stuff. But and God is a fake. The Bible of the God is the God of the Bible is a fake God. You know, okay, I'm feeling a lot more connected and similar to it right now because I'm just really really angry with people. But I still I'm angry at people because of their false belief in what I'm like. The Bible, the God of the Bible is evil and disgusting. And I feel like after 10 years of people believing this and me having to put up with it whilst knowing that it's actually me, it kind of makes me want to be like that. You think God is like this and is going to kill anyone that doesn't worship it. And then you at the same time sort of go on about how bad the Antichrist is because he's going to kill the prophets and the God. I don't know. There's the number of nonsense there is in the Bible. And also the number of people that call themselves biblical scholars. If you are calling yourself a biblical scholar and you also agree that you're a Christian and you believe in it, I think you're an idiot. And I don't even think you can be considered a biblical scholar, because a biblical scholar is someone who's read the Bible tons and tons of times. And if you read the Bible tons and tons of times and you still think that it's the truth, all of it, I think you're a moron or an idiot or something. And a scholar should be someone who's got a lot of knowledge and research. So technically, a biblical scholar can be a Christian. But I feel like though, if you've read everything in the Bible and you still believe it, I think you're just proving what a moron you are. So I want a team of people that can try and find the evidence that links to me, and the number of things that are correct about Christ versus what I believe in my reality version of Christ. But I can't go with people. I can't get people who are Christian to believe this. Why? Because people who are Christian are people who have accepted the false Christ and accepted the false God. And if you've accepted the false Christ and the false God, you're not going to want to believe in me and believe in my truth and believe that I don't actually like people and that I see them like pigeons and there's way too many. If you accepted the real God, the real God in your version, you're not going to accept me because my truth is not as nice and as cozy as that fake God. But yeah. Oh, going back to Dot. Yeah, I've always had fantasies about like how EastEnders would play it out, but I don't know. After seeing what they did with COVID, I feel like if there is a change from God the Mother to God, or God the Father to God the Mother, I feel like EastEnders might just blank it out, because there's a lot of Muslims and a lot of people that won't agree at first. And I think EastEnders is for the majority of the audience. And because there's a huge audience that are Islamic in England, I don't know how they would react. It might be too controversial for them to tap on. But anyway, either way, Dot has died. So the topic of her, having to admit that Jesus isn't the truth and that Jesus is actually the Antichrist that came with lies about God. Um, I don't. I was always wondering how she would react to this or how she would react on screen. But you've ignored me for 10 years. She's died, and it's interesting that she died on my birthday. Um, I feel like that's a sign too, though. On the day that her religion and her belief and her view of God dies, that's when I would be born on that day. Does that point to something's going to happen on 3rd of April this year? I don't know. I don't know. I hope that something is going to happen in my life, but I feel like things have happened for a reason. If people have ignored me for 10 years, I feel like they must have done it because they think that this is helping me. Otherwise, I don't understand why they would do this unless they are too busy worshipping something that's not. I don't know. I don't know what they know, and I wish I did. Um, and it's the reason why I'm so angry, because I don't know. But what I do know is that I think my higher self wants me to hate everyone and wants me to say nasty things. And I felt like the reason why is so that people feel nasty things about me. And I think the reason why God wants the world to hate me is because if there are other realms, in the Festival of Lights, there's supposed to be other heavens. I don't know, but I know that I have made the timeline, and I know that I've seen lots of stuff that points to me being God. And if I'm to select people to go on to do the same thing that I've done, if I'm going to select people to go on and be gods, they have to be able to see the same things that I have seen. They're going to have to be able to form a timeline, put their name, hide their name within all the within the religions that link to them, and they're going to have to find a way of waking their mortal self up when on Earth. And when on Earth, they're not going to know the truth about everything, and they're going to have to say as much truth that they know, but they're not going to know everything, and they're going to also have to accept that a lot of people aren't going to want to believe them or want to trust them because they don't know everything. They'll say, "Oh, you can't be God because you don't know everything." It's like, why does God have to know everything? And I'm just being honest with you. I could tell you a bunch of lies about how amazing God paradise is and how much I love you, but at the end of the day, if it's all lies, then what's the point of giving you that? People who seek truth should be seeking the truth, even if the truth is that Christ is on earth and she doesn't actually know that much. That if that is the truth, and if you are seeking truth, then you would be happy to accept that truth. Um, and not just think, oh, this person thinks she's Christ. She believes there's lots of evidence to point to it, but because she doesn't really know the truth about how many timelines she's on or where she goes when she's making these timelines, if she doesn't know all this, then I'm just going to ignore her. That's what most people would think, and they just don't realize that I don't care what they think. And if I'm only trying to, maybe the whole point is just to find like 10 people who are capable of understanding what I'm going through, and working out that, realizing that if they too want to be a god, they too are going to be in the same position I'm in. I'm sure though you'd probably prefer less people. 8 million souls, juggling 8 million souls is just absolute hard. I think I'm sure there's easier timelines where you can juggle like 1 million souls or something. I think that would be so much easier, and I think I'm struggling because I'm juggling so many souls. Um, and I've come at a point in the timeline where there's the maximum amount of souls that I can really juggle, and I feel like I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen, but I do know that I want to know the truth, even if me giving you the truth is saying that I don't know everything. And I don't care if people don't believe me or don't. At the end of the day, truth is truth. If you want to believe that you die, you'll go to paradise when you die. If that's not the truth, when you die, you're not going to go to paradise. Now, if you cared about the truth and wanted to know the truth, then you would seek evidence, even if it's not what you want to know and believe. And biblical scholars, there's so much evidence in the Bible that the Bible is not 100% truth. It's not even 50% truth. Um, there's so much evidence in it, and if you're a Bible scholar and you're ignoring that, then you're an idiot, and you're not the kind of people that I want. But yeah, anyway.